All right, so
Not
what is
really.
this residential center?
Oh, this is a place that the ministry owns. Well, not own. We're in the process of buying that. Yeah, we don't
So are
own
you
it yet.
renting to buy, or are you?
Yeah, we're leasing to buy.
You have that as an asset of 2,844,500. So do you own it?
I just answered that, didn't I? I said we didn't own it.
Okay,
We are
but
leasing
where
to
where
buy
does
it.
the? I'm sorry.
We're leasing to buy it. Did you? I thought we just said that.
All right, but
Yeah.
you have listed it as an asset worth $2,844,000.
Oh, that should be more of a liability.
All right, so where does the number 2,844,000 come from on your asset and liability?
That's, I guess, the appraisal value of the home or the residential center. Yeah.
Is it a home?
No, it's a residential center. We use it.
All right,
for
so you're saying it's not something you own, but you have it listed as an asset of $2.8 million.
That's probably a mistake. Like I say, it probably should be a liability.
Okay, and what goes on at the residential center?
It is really it's a gathering place for our ministry where I bring in different leaders and also the staff that we have as a place of, maybe resort and teaching and training.
Resort?
Yeah, teaching, a resort where we teach and train.
What's going on, guys? Great Disciple back with something a little bit different. Lately I've been reading this book. It's called Money, Possessions, and Eternity by Randy Alcorn, and it specifically talks about finances from a Christian or a biblical perspective. And in order to make my point a little bit more clearly, I found this clip of this deposition between an attorney and a pastor of this church, and this guy was obviously using money from his ministry to further his own life. He wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing, and it always leads to the question about the corruption that comes with the love of money. And I wanted to read you a few excerpts from the book, and I just want you to watch this guy's deposition as he tries to wiggle through the fact that he has done something wrong. It's just amazing. So there's one part of the book where it talks about the irony of life, especially towards a believer. Now, let me kind of paraphrase it a little bit. There's this change that occurs when you have this poor and humble person who walks with God, and they're fervently praying that God will lift them out of the position that they're in more of a prosperous way. All right. And when they're finally rewarded with that prosperity, what happens is the person's attention gradually turns away from the Lord. And unless they're corrected, this new believer will ultimately be transformed into a proud, rich person who comes under God's judgment. Now, some people wonder why God still blesses with wealth. In the Old Testament, especially when God was going to bless people, he did it in a financial way. And many Western nations, have departed from their godly heritage. I mean, you can see it in America because of the prosperity. We have everything that you could possibly want and more compared to all the other people of the world. Well, perhaps at this point, the quote unquote blessing is no longer a true blessing, but a curse in disguise. I mean, think about it. The greatest blessing would be one that would return us to following God wholeheartedly, right? Because that's the ultimate goal of a Christian, is to follow God wholeheartedly. But our entanglement with wealth is certainly not accomplishing that. In the midst of all this prosperity, the challenge for modern day believers is to handle wealth in such a way that it acts as a blessing, not as a curse.
On November 29th, 2013, JMMI paid over $6,000 to Louis Vuitton.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What would that be for?
Well, this is for clothes concerning my TV ministry as well.
Oh, you have to wear Louis Vuitton?
Oh, it don't matter what name it is. The point is clothing are allocated to us for ministry purposes as well.
What do you mean they're allocated to you?
in a media ministry.
In a what?
Media ministry.
Yeah.
Okay, or on the road, when I'm always traveling and using my clothes, I'm sweating through them. So I'm needing new clothes also for television ministry through the years. So
And so you used ministry money to buy your wardrobe.
outfit.
Your
It's allocated more towards ministry apparel.
Does that go into what your income is?
I'm sorry. I don't
Do you
understand.
show that in your income that you got Louis Vuitton clothing?
No, that's not. That
Doesn't show.
because it don't go there.
It don't go there. I don't know
no.
what that means.
It don't belong there. That's out of place.
What's out of place?
You don't get taxed on things like that. That's for ministry business purpose. So it's not.
Louis Vuitton.
Well, you can call whatever you want.
You know, if you're like me, there's times in your life where you go through this string, and I love the way Randy puts it, of materialistic, quote unquote, if onlys. If only I could get a raise, if only I could get a better paying job, if only I could buy a new car, if only I could get that boat or that country cottage or that dress or that rifle or that toy or that video game, then I would be happy. Well, here's another version of those if onlys. If only I had more money, I'd give more. Well, unfortunately, those who give little when they have little almost never increase the percentage of their giving when they become wealthy. Isn't that shocking? And then you say, well, it's easy for you to say because you have money and I don't. If I had money, I would do something different. Really? Well, you probably have never heard these quotes, so I'm going to share them with you. Okay? John D. Rockefeller, for example. Everybody's heard of the Rockefellers. He said, I have made many millions, but they have brought me no happiness. W.H. Vanderbilt said, the care of 200 million is enough to kill anyone. There is no pleasure in it. John Jacob Astor said, I'm the most miserable man on earth. Henry Ford said that he was happier when he was doing a mechanic's job. And Andrew Carnegie said, millionaires seldom smile. Think about that. If you know a wealthy person in your life, are they truly happy?
So June 2014, you spent $3,500 by JMMI to Versace in the Bahamas. Yes?
I'm sure that's right. If it shows there.
And that was for clothing for you?
Yes, probably. Yes, most likely.
So you don't see that there's any problem when you're ministering to the poor, the sick, the needy, to be appearing in Louis Vuitton and Versace?
Well, that ain't something I purchase all the time.
Well, it looks like you did several times in...
I mean, I'm a very frugal person when it comes to this. I go to the right places to get a lot of suits. And if I get some from those places, you don't see that.
I don't see Macy's.
No, you don't see that, because Macy's don't have the kind of suits that I wear. But what I'm saying is, this Louis Vuitton things, you don't see that in our charges all the time.
2013 and 14, JMMI spent over $30,000 in your clothes. Does that sound about right?
What year was that?
13 and 14.
Oh God, yes, because I was traveling so much and sweating through all my clothes. Exactly. That probably wasn't enough because just have so...
But they have to be top-of-the-line expensive ones.
No, they're not top-of-the-line clothes.
Louis Vuitton's not top-of-the-line?
Those not where I get my suits from.
Well, you got something from them spent thousands and thousands.
Well, the belts are more lasting, so that's good.
Come on, you're buying belts for $5,000?
No, I mean, multiple belts.
I know we all know the statement that money can't buy you happiness. Think about it like this. And he told a story in his book, and I actually have a similar one. My wife and I, we moved into our house, and we lived in the house for almost 10 years with the same carpet. Actually, it was over 10 years. The same carpet, just this disgusting carpet after a while. I mean, it's just gross. There's stains and all these things. And, we have more important things to put our money towards because we have 2 little babies, and, we're just trying to make it. We're paying our bills. Well, finally, we get in enough money to get new floors. We have these nice floors put in. And now we walk on eggshells around our floor because we put this investment into this floor. And, now it's nice and it's clean and it's new and it's ours. And we never really truly cared for our carpet because it was junk. It was just carpet. It was something we walked on. But now we invested this money into this possession, and it's almost like this possession now owns us. Has this ever happened to you guys? Let me give you another example. You buy a television, right? Well, you can't just buy a television and that's it. No, you have to hook up an antenna or subscribe to a cable service. Then you have to buy a DVD player and start renting or buying movies. Then you have to get surround sound speakers and a recliner so you can watch everything that you want to watch in comfort. And then by then, after you've purchased all this stuff, your neighbors purchased a larger TV than you, so now you got to go upgrade and get a bigger TV. This sounds hilarious, right? But that's our lives, isn't it? It's amazing how a possession can actually push you into redefining your priorities in life and beginning to get you to question why you do what you do. And it's not necessarily like the possession's a bad thing. Let me give you an example. If you buy a boat, the problem isn't just the money in buying the boat. Now you have to justify your purchase by actually using the boat, which may mean frequent weekends away from church if you're a Christian, making you unavailable to teach at Sunday school, or work in a nursery, or lead a small group, or fill in the blank. As Jesus said, it's the worries and wealth that can choke you and take away your freedom.
August 2014, you went to the Gucci store in Troy and purchased something?
Yeah.
What
like
would
I
that
say,
be?
it probably was a belt or maybe shoes. I don't
Belt
know.
or shoes?
But I don't usually buy my suits from these very expensive places. I just get the things that I invest in will last longer, like such as belts.
So you got to go
Or
to
shoes.
Gucci or places like that.
Well, no, I buy those things from there because they have a better TV appearance for the belt.
For
and
asking for money
shoe.
from the poor?
No, it's,
You paid $1,000 to Monsieur Clothing in New York, and then another $715. Whose clothing was that for?
where's that now? I don't understand.
August 1st, October 28th, total of over $1,700 to Monsieur Clothing in New York.
I don't know about that.
Even rich people deal with this, and there's countless stories of this. And Randy actually told this story of how he was sitting in an airport and he randomly runs into this guy that he knows of, and the guy is clearly upset. It's the weekend, and he's like, "Why are you upset?" He's like, "I have to go to Florida." "Well, why do you have to go to Florida?" "Oh, there's something happened with my rent house or my property in Florida, and I've got to go over there and oversee the repairs." Mind you, this guy owns a private jet, and he was waiting for his private jet to be fueled up so he could fly to Florida. This guy has literally everything that 90% of the world would ever want, and he's complaining because the worries of his wealth, the anxiety that was brought forth of it, the fact that his possessions now control him, has ruined his life. And so you see this clip of this guy in the background going back and forth with this attorney, and he's arguing the validity of the purchases that he's making. And you just sit there and you shake your head. Now, from the outside looking in, we're like, dude, what is wrong with you? Where did you go wrong? Why are you doing this? But to this guy, he is so far into his materialistic pursuit that he can no longer see it. It's just sad. And it's happening to so many people. One of the reasons why I bought this book was because I'm so afraid of it. I've made so much money in my life. Over the last 15 years, I averaged 6 figures. Five of the years I've broken 200,000. And you guys don't understand that money can absolutely destroy you if you're not careful. You have to make sure that you're using it as a blessing and that it doesn't become a curse. I don't know. I just thought you guys may want to see this. So enjoy the video. I know this is a little bit longer than normal. We'll see what happens. Have an awesome day, you guys. Bye.
All right, you testified at your last deposition that JMMI owns 3 vehicles, a BMW, a Mercedes, and a Bentley.
Yes.
Have you driven those cars?
Yes.
Is Michelle?
No. We usually have a driver.
The 3 cars that we've talked about, in whose name are the titles?
Then the ministry name.
They're all in JMMI.
I think everything except the Bentley.
Whose name is the Bentley in?
It's in DeWin, McDill.
I have a question, just from a, you minister to the poor and the sick and all that. Isn't it a little offensive to be driving around in a Bentley and a Mercedes to people that really, are impoverished and sick and ill and AIDS and drug rehab? Isn't it a little offensive to sort of being showplacing what you have?
Well, dear one, I don't showplace to people, and I'm not in
Bentley.
that car. You don't see me driving around in that car every day. I don't do that.
But it's in
You
the
know.
ministry. Everybody
No.
in the ministry sees you. You said you drive it.
I haven't before. You just asked me have I drove it, but it ain't something I drive every day or even every year. I don't do that. I have drivers who pick up my guests, my high-profile guests. No,
But do you see my point that people that are suffering and giving you whatever their last dime is and in donations and drug habits, to have them see you drive around your high-profile guests in a Bentley or Mercedes might be offensive and hurtful even?
It could be offensive if they didn't know my life, but they know
Oh.
my life. It would be offensive to someone like you who's trying to make it bad, but
So it's
because your
important you have a
attitude,
Bentley.
it ain't really important. That don't make me.